Hey guys, hope everybody's doing safe and well. This is the next group of videos where you'll be seeing a little bit more of the worksheets and a little less of me for Class 3, Number 1, Video 1 for Class 3. So this is the page 25 I've been talking so much about and we've talked about in the Zoom classes, which really contains everything that we need to do and be a part of, or make an effort to understand that this is really the core of the class reading work here. All of the notes that we'll be reading and in the first position are included here, and we are just going to do a quick review of them, and I'm going to actually go through and write them out, which is a great exercise for you guys to get more familiar with writing the notes as well as the position on the fretboard. We'll do a little tab and notation exercise first. So this is the first position natural scale, page 25 of chapter 3, and it, as I said during the Zoom meeting, it contains all the answers. I said this in the video too, all the answers of any of the notation questions you might do throughout the semester. And I'll include a PDF, though you can download these types of things on Google pretty easily, of a blank staff paper with the tablature, which I'm about to use right now. So this first position natural scale, again, the lowest note E matches up with the open E string. You can see the dotted lines group each 3-letter names for each string. There's A, there's D, open, right there. G, which we're calling middle G. The B, where the stems go down, and the high E is here. And I mentioned in one of the videos too to try to memorize a few things here. The first 6 notes all use ledger lines. The last 6 notes all have downward stems. And eventually we'd like to memorize all the notes, but if you can get some of these open string notes memorized, for example, this low E with 3 ledger lines, that's as low as we can go, so it's a great starting point, and you can literally go up the scale and count up and find any note you're looking for, either from the middle G or the high G or the low E. And if you know what the open strings look like, you have even more landmarks. The open E with 3 ledger lines, the open A with 2 ledger lines and a line through it, the D with the note at the bottom of the stem, and the G with the note right on the line marked by the G clef, the B in the middle of the staff, and the high E from face, F-A-C-E, in the spaces. So what I encourage you to do, and like I said, I'll put a PDF of this piece of paper up. This is from the Distler book, but I didn't include this in your PDF group, is a blank piece of tab paper. And again, you can find this stuff on, you can Google it as well, with a staff line on top and a tablature on the bottom. So I'm going to start by writing the 3 ledger lines. I like to actually write the lines themselves first so I can put the note in place and then put the upward stem on it. And that would be my low E. I've got 3 ledger lines again, and I'm going to write the note on the line. That would be the F. And then I've got 2 ledger lines, and I'm going to write the note underneath the ledger line, and that would be my G. And I'll put the letters above these, E, F, and G. And then I'm going to tab them one at a time here. So I'm going to look at the strings, and remember the lowest string is on the bottom. So this is open E. On the bottom line is a half a step higher F, and up a whole step, which is G. So there's my 6th string tabbed out, and we'll put a 6 with a circle on the top there, indicating that we're on the 6th string. Now I'm going to put a measure line just to separate the strings for our visual purposes here, and I'm going to write the next notes. Now remember, we never skip a line or a space, so if this is G, A would still need to use 2 ledger lines because that G is in a space, and I'm going to write on a line, that's A, and then B would be under the single line, and C would be on the line. Notice that when I wrote notes like the G or the B, I did not write a ledger line underneath the note. That is something we don't do, and I would mark wrong if you put that extra ledger line in there. The problem is we start to clutter up the music a little bit too much, and the whole idea of ledger lines is to measure how far away from the written staff we are and not to add any more ink if necessary. So again, notice when I'm under the line, I do not write the bottom line in. So if this is the 5th string now, I would have the open 5th string, which is A, up a whole step to B. Oop, I wrote it in the wrong spot. And it's analog, I can erase it. B, which is 2 up a whole step, and C, which is a half a step up. So I've got my notes on the A string, A, B, and C. And again, I'm just going to put a line to separate it, not for any rhythmic purposes, but more for a visual purpose. And that brings me to this next open note, which is D, and notice we're at the bottom of the staff now. Okay, so I've got the D at the bottom of the staff, and a good note to memorize so I can tell whether I'm going below or above the D string, which is open 4. And then I've got E, that's the E from Every Good Boy Does Fine, and the F from Face, and that would be D to E up a whole step and E to F up a half a step, and that would be open 2 and 3. So notice as I'm moving strings, I'm changing what note, where the note appears on the string lines. So when we started on the 6th string, I was on the bottom. When we did the 5th string notes, I was on the 5th string, and now I'm on the 4th string, 2 below, or excuse me, 2 above the bottom low 6th string there. So there's my measure line to mark the next string. That was the 4th string. This will be the 3rd string now. And there's my middle G. Again, notice all along the way, I did not skip a line or a space. There's the F, there's the G, space, line. Okay. And if that's G, then A would have to be in the space, and that would be my open 3rd string and up a whole step to A. And that's G and A. So again, great practice for getting familiar with what's on every string. We only have the top 6 notes left, and this is where I see the open B. Again, open E, open A, open D, open G, and that's where the stems start to go down. So that's my open B, 2nd string open, in the space is C, on the line would be D. B, C, and D. Again, I ask myself, B and C, what's the distance there? It's only a half a step, and it's a whole step to D. And I end up with my last 3 notes, which are open E, again, the E from face, F, A, C, E. And that would be the open string here. So again, you guys, the pitch class is important. That was something I introduced in this week's Zoom meeting. There's an E down here on the 6th string. There's an E in the middle. And notice the pitch is higher on the staff, and then there's an E way up top on the staff. And that's very important because, again, if I ask you for a particular place on the fretboard and ask you to notate it, it has to be the right pitch class. So if I ask you for this E and you draw this E, obviously it's going to be wrong. It's the correct letter name, but in the wrong pitch. So if I go and follow the rules, I would have a note on the line, and that's F, and then a note on the top of the staff, and that's going to be E, F, and G. Of course, the 2nd string was there. This is the 1st string. And I'd have open, 1st, and 3rd. And one thing that is helpful, at least in this first position scale idea, is that whatever fret we're using, that's what finger we're using as well. Okay, so if it says second fret, you want to use your middle finger to play that note. Don't slide your index finger up and down the string to play open first and third, but play the string open, then use your index finger for C, for example, on the B string, and then your third finger or ring finger to play this D, or don't slide your middle finger or third finger. We're trying to learn how to teach our muscles to be efficient and to place the fingers over the notes they're going to play. So this is a great exercise. Like I said, I will include a PDF of this particular sheet, and you can do as many exercises as you want. When we have our test pieces, you can tab them out. The only thing I don't want you to do, or try not to do, again, because you'll be sending me a video, is to tab out your test piece and only use the tablature. Really try and use the notation and get to learn the notation. So once again, our study guide, page 25, has all the relevant information we need, and we just took that information, and this is considered one form of tablature here, fretboard tablature, and then this is a tablature where we have used the tab paper, again similar to the old styles of tab used by many of the Baroque guitar and vihuela and lute players. We'll sign off there, and then I'll do a few of these exercises from chapter 4 next for the next video. So have a great day and practice writing that out. It will certainly help you along the way. Thanks. Bye-bye.